Odyssey hasn't been straight with us, guys, because after spending some good amount of time with these Odyssey Maxwell wireless gaming headphones, I am starting to think that they've been playing us since day one with their supposedly higher end products. Yes, we've been gypped, my friends. We've been gypped. The Odyssey Maxwell MSRP is for $300, but mind you, that's just for the PlayStation version. If you want the Xbox version, which is this one, you have to pay an extra $30 Xbox tax. What the crap, guys. But anyways, these are closed back planar magnetic headphones. The array is 90mm in size, pretty standard for Odysseys of this size. Bluetooth 5.3 with support for an alphabet soup of codecs: AAC, SBC, LDAC, LC3, LC3+, and LE audio. Battery life on this, according to the factory, is 80 hours, but in reality, I got around on average 76.4 hours with AAC and 73.7 hours with LDAC. All pretty strong numbers, and all of these are tested at 60% volume with side tone off. The weight on this is a hefty 494 grams, but it does spread its weight out really well on the headband. Obviously, since this is a gaming headset, we have the compulsory boom mic right here, but it is removable and you can rely on the internal mics. Or mic, I'm not 100% sure. Odyssey doesn't clarify whether they use a single mic or a double mic or more, because there's only one single port right here. But if anything changes when this is aired, I'll flash it down the screen below. Anyways, this hyper cardioid boom mic is removable, and I'll compare the voice quality later on in the show. You can see how these differ, but obviously this is much better for up close voice chats and things like that and recordings. The foam pad right here, or the windjammer, is removable, and on the inside, I'm not sure if it will focus fast enough, but there's a really cool Odyssey logo right there. There's no controls, no lights whatsoever to indicate the status of the mics like on some other models, for what it's worth. The insertion point is flat on the inside, so there's only a directional way to get it in. So that's nice right there, and keeps things pointing in the right direction for the mics at least. The whole build is fantastic, guys. This thing is solid. Aluminum and steel chassis from the top to the bottom. There is like faux leather for the headband as well as the ear pads. And by the way, speaking of the ear pads, check this out, guys. This, for some of you who are new to Odyssey, you know that this is huge. So the ear cups are removable. Awesome. So you can switch out the third party. They know that these are going to get high traffic for gamers and things like that, and if these wear out, you want to be able to quickly replace them or cheaply replace them. So that's awesome. Here you can see the planar mag array, a little bit of it inside anyway. On the side caps here, they're really nice too. This is the left. All the controls are on the left side. On the right side, there's pretty much nothing, bare bones. The mute button's at the top, and this thing works for both the internal and the boom mic as well. So in case you're wondering, for those of you who like to rest your headphones around your neck, it might be possible due to this almost 90-degree vertical rotation right here, but because of the tab headband system, there's no way to quickly extend or shorten it depending on your neck size. So yeah, there's that. But again, this thing is built really nicely. The yoke is, I just love the build quality on this thing. No touch controls here. There is buttons and dials. Starting at the top right here, there's the volume control. Now this also, both of these dials have buttons that you can press. So a single press activates track forward, backward, but they have a 5-second timeout. So after 5 seconds, they time back into volume. And then double pressing it activates EQ mode, whereby the dial cycles to your EQ presets. And below that is the side tone dial. Right past that, we have the 3.5mm port and then USB-C port. This handles charging as well as digital audio, but between the two, I'll pick 3.5. Both of these, when you use audio, the power needs to be on, by the way, but I prefer using 3.5 because the overall gain on the USB-C side is only 60% compared to the 3.5 for what it's worth. After that, we have obviously the boom mic input, and right past that, the last button of all is noise cancellation, but this is not like active noise cancellation. This is for the mic's system itself. We're outside doing the Bluetooth range test for the Maxwells now, and this is where we test the Bluetooth strength just for fun. It's nothing scientific. I'll walk from the back of my house towards the side, and I do this for every single episode where there's Bluetooth related devices. And pretty much you can compare video to video which one performs better. So I have Spanish Steps by Van Morrison playing on my OnePlus Open, piping it through the Maxwell. And okay, I have a couple of observations. First one, let's just look at the Bluetooth strength, left-right fluctuation, normal stuff. I'm standing about 25 feet away and it's okay, it's still going strong. Second observation before we get to the full cutoff point here. Okay, actually we're here already. So right around here, its music is unintelligible, it's going left and right. So I'm gonna call it. Right there is around 39 feet. And right over there around 60 feet is when we get a full disconnect and all that. I get a tone and all those things. I've tested it multiple times and that's usually consistently where it's at. Now, another observation is still doing it, thankfully, so I can speak to it. Every time I've had either SBC on or LDAC or whatever it is, I've changed phones, I've changed streaming and media player apps. Same problem, just to be sure. I get like static from the streamed music. It's like clack, 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 pop, 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 pop. So whatever codec I use, whatever volume I'm playing at, whatever mode I switch to, even with the voice through mode, whatever it's called, same problem. So I'm not sure what's going on. If you're an owner of the Maxwell, let me know, let us know if you're getting the same problem or if it's just my unit. So Odyssey, if you're listening, help me out as well too. Fit wise, and I know this is extreme, it is actually pretty comfortable and steady. It is heavy. You can definitely feel the weight of this, but in terms of lift and bounce, it's not as bad as something even lighter like the Soundcore Q45 or Sonoflows or things like that. This is actually pretty stable. I have it right now in the second tab for what it's worth, down on the headband. But this thing is pretty steady, one of the most stable I've worn in a while. And for the size, for an Odyssey, this is technically pretty compact. So take it for what it is. I'm gonna want to see how the microphones on these handle phone calls. Let's head down to the street for some samples. I kind of look like a race steward or like I belong on an aircraft carrier or something. The wind is blowing in this direction, by the way, guys. So I'll tell you what, the wind jammer on this and also the suppression or the mic quality is really nice. It kills the sound from the wind, as well as I have a projected voice right now because I'm speaking for outdoors and the camera itself, so I'm speaking louder than most people would probably, unless you're yelling at the screen, in which case, you know, you can hear for yourself. This thing can handle slightly raised gain, which is really nice. And let me show you how the mute works. So the buttons on the right, on the left here, you click it down, you hear a tone in the ear cup itself, but it won't show up in the recording. And then back up again, and it reactivates the audio. It would be nice, or some other headphones or mic systems have the mute button on the boom itself, or if you flick it up, it automatically goes on. But it's just a slight difference how Odyssey does it, for what it's worth. Voice quality, again, it's really nice indoors. Oh, this thing is really, really nice too. Let me pull off also the wind jammer, and you can hear how the hypercardioid setup works. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Here comes some cars passing through. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And then let's remove the boom mic altogether, and you can hear the voice quality turns south a little bit. It kind of reminds me of a Chi-Fi headphone, you know. So the noise suppression is a little bit aggressive. The voice quality is decent until noise comes in, and then the algorithm kind of takes it down, takes it south. Like earlier, I was testing when a V8 Camaro passed by, going boom, 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 boom. You know, it's like this nice rumble. But all I heard in the recording was this, like, it sounded like the car was sputtering with a blown hit gasket or something. So for what it's worth, I would say it's a really nice first effort for Odyssey in terms of Bluetooth quality for just internal mics, but the boom mic itself is pretty spot on. Since I'm reviewing the Maxwell connected primarily through my Android phone, I'm going to focus on that version of the Odyssey app instead. There is a Windows application as well, but the functions there are essentially the same as on the mobile app. But anyways, as you can see, the home screen is attractive. You get things like battery levels at the top, and then there is a volume gauge that splits into different listening health zones, which is unique, I've never seen before, and also side tone controls below that. You can adjust the strength of the side tone as well as the mix between game versus voice. The app, I would say, could use some polish with the animations because as it is, they're kind of slow and make navigating between screens feel clunky. Equalizer is where you'll find 6 presets that help with games and media consumption, so you can just play around if you like. There are also 4 save spots to save personal preferences made in the 10-band horizontal slider EQ. Now, under settings, there are handy functions like a shutdown timer and voice prompt volume adjustment, among other things. I'm honestly tired of hearing people praising the Maxwell to heaven and back for its sound. Like, why can't Odyssey screw up for once so I can bash it into negatives? Well, as you can probably already tell, guys, unfortunately, I have to agree with those folks that these sound fan-bloody-tastic. Not just as gaming headphones, mind you, not just as Bluetooth or even wired headphones, not just for $300, but strictly as headphones, period. Full stoppo. If anything, this literally reminds me of a wireless closed-back version of the MM100, which I really liked. In terms of bass, for instance, listening to Wandering by Yoshi Horikawa is a joy for bass lovers, or even if you aren't. I'm sure you enjoy how the speed and authority of the low end gives the entire tune more texture and engagement. The mids are neutral without being lifeless, but I would say it does run out of steam near the upper mids. Now, treble also is neutral sounding without the usual shrillness of most gaming headsets. When you try EQing the Maxwell, you'll realize also how tolerant it is, which is quite amazing at this price point. Another trick up the Maxwell sleeve is support for Dolby Atmos surround through the PC Xbox dongle. And I thought it would be some kind of, cheap gimmick or at least an afterthought of some kind, like some tend to be. But for example, Forza and Battlefield never sounded more immersive than this. And here's what I think. Basically, what Odyssey has created here is a pair of headphones that does everything well, which also makes this arguably the most versatile model in the entire Odyssey catalog. Think about that. While not perfect, the physical controls are easy enough to master. Now, many of you know how much I love dials and toggles, right? So, of course, the volume and side tone dials with secondary press functions get bonus points from moi. Now, gamers and work from homers may be used to mute controls and mic status LEDs directly on the boom mic itself, but I don't find that as a downer in this case. For pure endurance alone, the Maxwell might be the longest lasting premium headphone ever out there, beating out battery champs like the Sennheiser Momentum 4. I know there are different categories, but think about this, 80 hours. Are you kidding me now? The only other headphone I know with similar numbers is like the Edifier Stack Spirit S3, also a planar mag. The fact that you can listen to music and game for about 6 hours per day all week and have battery still at 55% is bloody nuts in my book. Like most of you folks out there, I appreciate headphone makers who try to be different. But in this case, the headband with tabbed adjustment straps just, it's a thumbs down. Because by only offering 3 tabs on the Maxwell suspension system, seriously limits how well you can dial in the right fit. Now, most folks, I would say, will find the pressure and the weight distribution just fine most of the time, myself included. But there will be days, I can guarantee you, that you'll wish for more adjustment. For now, the only way to fix that, there are replacement straps on Amazon with 4 tabs instead, so maybe that's better. As I noted during the outdoor Bluetooth test, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go back there right now so at least we're on the same page, dang it. There is annoying audio starter at anything further than 8 feet, at least outdoors. And I'm not sure what's going on here, guys. I'm not sure if it's me or my unit or my house. I have the latest firmware version 1.0.163, and I thought in version 1.0.151, there was a similar audio issue that was fixed, and that was back in August of last year. So on a similar note, there's a known crackling issue related to the side tone function as well, and I've seen folks on Reddit complain about how the noise floor of side tone is high enough that it produces a constant staticky noise even at minimum setting. My unit exhibits that same problem, but thank goodness only intermittently. Now, it's easily solved either by turning off side tone and then turning it back on again, or if you want to, power cycling the unit altogether. But the fact is, we shouldn't need to do that. Despite of all those negatives, which are honestly small in comparison, the value for money demonstrated here is rather unbelievable for what you're getting. Considering how well sorted the planar mags, the connectivity options, the battery life, built-in materials, and also the controls, it's hard to imagine anything more capable than the Maxwell, which in of itself seems to operate beyond its design brief as a gaming headphone. Of course, those of you looking for like RGB lighting or more comprehensive mic controls, or perhaps the best boom mic out there, will have to look somewhere else, like at say the AUDEZE Pro series or something. But for pure SQ, this. Well, that's all I got today, guys. This has been the AUDEZE Maxwell review. Thanks to AUDEZE for sending this to me. And this headphone holds a special place in my heart, not just because, you know, it's awesome, but because of the name Maxwell is actually a family lineage name. So hi to all my Maxwells watching out there. But if you'd like to see more content like this, you know what to do. The only way to help this is thumbs up this video, subscribe, and reshare this with your friends. Let's grow this to 50,000. I'm watching the ticker every day and I've been waiting a long time. So let's help me get to 50,000 so we can get more stuff like this and so you can watch it and enjoy yourselves. But thank you again for being here. Remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out.